All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarah Seti. Kick back. Get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. Excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Seti YouTube page, a dynamic page. You know, y'all know I bring nothing but the heat. There's a link down in the video description. Join link. You click that link, you'll get a video introduction on the memberships, a rundown on what they entail. You see one you like, and I know you will, then you should most definitely join. If not, we still appreciate you over here at General Sarah Seti's YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. This Sunday is going down, Freemasonry Exposed. Let me get it in here. Yeah, I got to get it in here. I got to get it in here. Matter of fact, I got it right here. Good. I ain't got to go looking for it. Bingo. That's right. Here we go. Freemasonry exposed, a shocking revelation, guaranteed nothing but heat. I ain't gonna tell you again. You see what I'm saying? You coming up out of here, man. You gonna have an encyclopedic knowledge of Freemasonry, man. That is man, make the Grand Master go somewhere and sit down. Yeah, for real. Go have a seat. You see, so I want you in the house. I want you to click that link right down there in the video description. Get your ticket. Be in the house. GeneralSeti.ticketleap.com. You know, Seti keeping it leaping on Ticket Leap. And we're going to have some powerful lectures coming up even after this. So if you always check in, you'll most definitely, you know what I'm saying, see the upcoming lectures that's going to be in the queue. And you can get your ticket at any time. That's right. Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarah Seti DVD. Uh-oh, we got family coming from South Africa. They coming from South Africa. I already see you. Black Power, family. Yeah. Yeah, Black Power. Let me throw you in there while I'm rocking. Yeah. And so we General Sarah Seti official DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies. We got 25% off. You understand? Selected products at this time, so you can come over, see something nice. You can get it and get your 25% off at the same time. The time is now. You feel what I'm saying? And so get on over here. Pull the fire alarm. I got the damn tongue twisted. Pull the fire alarm, GeneralSeti.com. SETI University, over 1,000 video presentations on African history, heritage, spirituality, nation building, mental warfare, advanced African academics, developing the Black nation one lesson at a time. The complete General Sarah Seti website with all the subjects that you know and love from General Seti. You see, and so most, you know, it ain't nothing but heat. You see, when you got 1,000, I ain't got to say you, this one right here gonna blow your mind. You see, this one video gonna blow your mind because I'm gonna drop some heavy mental tonight. You see, and so we got all the subjects that you know and love from the General, Omeka, ancient Egypt, the Illuminati, the Hindu Kush, rise of the Neanderthals, and so many more. So get on over there, just check it out. That's all you got to do. Just check it out. SETI University, GeneralSeti.com. You will be binging on Black Power from now on. The Black Netflix. That's right. General Seti popping on Patreon. BPC making noise. We never come. Exclusive live stream. Too hot to handle on YouTube, but just so exquisite that we keep it for our family on Patreon. We got that fire series on Clarence Thomas' connection to the Jesuits, the Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, Nazi sympathizers. It ain't nothing but fire. If you want to see the gate, you want to see the general pull the veil back on the gatekeepers, then goddamn it, this is one of the ones you want to see. And you know we got the Champellion and the false teachings going down. I'm gonna be tighten their ass up tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? He a gatekeeper too. And so we're gonna tighten all their ass up tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channel. King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Seti. Rock that notification bell Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now, we're going to be talking about a very powerful, you know what? It was on my spirit. Let's talk about who Malcolm, met with when he went to his trips in Africa. I'm very, interested in, spreading that because because a lot of people don't give Malcolm, the credit that he do. A giant amongst giants. You see, on that Black Power, front, he's the father. After Garvey, he's the father. He's the father. You see, of the modern Black Power movement. You see, and so we got to go in and see what Malcolm was doing over there and who he was talking to. A lot of people, we got to talk about it. You see, got to talk about it. How Malcolm X became a serious threat to the U.S. after his African visit. Pan-Africanism, the global, and I say global African supremacy, but for the sake of, we'll do this. Pan-Africanism, the global movement encouraging the bond of solidarity between people of African descent, gave birth to the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, which inspired Malcolm X during his visit to Africa in 1964. He has had prior visits to the continent with his first in 1959 when he touched down in the United Arab Republic, a short-lived political union between Egypt and Syria, Sudan, Nigeria, and Ghana, to make arrangements for a tour by Elijah Muhammad. He also visited Africa after his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1964 and conducted interviews and gave speeches in Egypt, Ethiopia, Tanganyika, Nigeria, Ghana, Guinea, Sudan, Senegal, Liberia, Algeria, and Morocco after meeting their leaders. That's very powerful. Now we'll go over them again. Egypt, Ethiopia, Tanganyika, Nigeria, Ghana, Guinea, Sudan, Senegal, Liberia, Algeria, and Morocco. After meeting their leaders, he earned the Yoruba name Omowale. Yeah, which means the son who has come home. In Nigeria, after he spoke at the University of Ibadan, Ibadan, Malcolm was enlightened by Pan-African leaders such as Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt, Ahmed Ben Bella of Algeria, who were stewards of African unity and wanted to work with them. Stalwarts of African unity and wanted to work with them. The impressed Malcolm X returned to the United States in May and formed the Organization of Afro-American Unity, the OAAU, to fight for the human rights of Black Americans and foster unity with Africans and all people of African descent. Man, Malcolm, man, it's just crazy how this man was so, far ahead of his time, man, and what he was doing. I ain't gonna say he was ahead of his time, but man, he was light years ahead of everybody in his generation. He was light years ahead of him. Yeah, he was doing things, man, that these niggas couldn't even imagine today. You understand? Or before Marcus Garvey, was the man, no doubt about it. But Malcolm was, he was making a lot because Garvey didn't get in there. You know what I'm saying? By the time Malcolm came, see, at the time of Garvey, Africa was still colonized. But when Malcolm got over there, they was they was ready, they was ripe. Revolution was in the air. You see what I'm saying? So Africa was ready for revolution, was ready for freedom, ready for liberation. You see what I'm saying? So it was a different Africa. You see what I'm saying? So Malcolm had, the frequency, the energy was, right for his message. You see, now he announced the establishment at a public meeting in New York's Audubon Ballroom on June 28, 1964, after writing the group's charter with other Pan-Africanists, including Baba John Henry Clark, Albert Cleage, and a lot of people don't know, if you listen to Malcolm X, on even both of his, a lot of people don't know that, but I, being that I'm from Detroit, Ballad to the Bullet and Message to the Grassroots was given in Detroit. You see, at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. And Albert Cleage was I don't know what his position there. He changed his name, but that's what he was before he changed his name. You see what I'm saying? And so he was the head. And matter of fact, he founded the Shrine of the Black Madonna. You see? And so that's where he gave them two speeches, Ballad or the Bullet and Message to the Grassroots at the Shrine of the Black Madonna in Detroit. And it's still there. It's on Linwood. You see? It's still there on Linwood. And Jesse Gray and Gloria Richardson. And I'm gonna do some research on them because I'm not so familiar with them. But those are the four individuals that help him to write the group's charter. 2 months later, he returned to Egypt for the Second Organization of African Unity, meeting as a representative of the Organization of Afro-American Unity. See what he doing? Yeah. See what he doing? He over there, politicking for our people. He laying the way. He's the second coming of Garvey. You see, in that respects. He's the second coming of Garvey. I didn't always agree with the Muslim thing, but you understand what I'm saying? I don't think he had that confusion because he understood that, in the African American, the OAAU, it wasn't about religion. It was politics. It was nation building. So that wasn't religious. He had his own religion, but that wasn't religious. You see, that was for African people. Ahead of his trip to Africa, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover wrote in a memo dated July the 2nd, 1964, that the OAAU was a threat to the national security of the United States. He's on the radar. He's on the radar. He's on the radar. The FBI had wanted to convict Malcolm under the Logan Act, which forbids negotiating with foreign governments having a dispute with the United States. The memo accused Malcolm of meeting communist China in Africa. Okay, Malcolm X returned to the United States and started laying a solid foundation for the OAAU under the 4 pillars of restoration, reorientation. We got to get back. I got to get my scrolls out, man. restoration, reorientation. We got to reorient ourselves. Our orientation is fucked up today. Been fucked up. We got to reorientation, education, and economic security of Black people. Restoration, reorientation, education, and economic security of Black people. He was killed on February 21st, 1965, by 3 men suspected to be members of the Nation of Islam while preparing to address the OAAU in Manhattan's Audubon Ballroom. Okay? And so that's where it ends. And they took away from us, probably at that time, the greatest push for us to connect to Africa, you see, to clean up our condition that we was in America. We had somebody that Malcolm could get the ball, and that's all he was about. He wasn't no showman. He wasn't like a lot of these other motherfuckers out here. He was about the hard work. He was about the hard work. You see, and that's what he lived. He was a true prophet. You understand, in all the sense, in the hard work that he put in. And when you see how he was working, reaching his hands across this water to the other nations and actually, building relationships with them. You see, and getting them to back Malcolm. See, ain't no other leader get that backing from Africa like that. That was very critical that Malcolm had done that he had gotten backing from 33 nations, African nations, on the genocide that was happening to Blacks in America. You see, and so it was a lot of people that had they hand in Malcolm death. Malcolm was really the first, great scholar, prophet in my life. You see, Malcolm. I was reading, and Dr. Ben would be, and Dr. John Henry Clark would come right behind Malcolm. But man, I was into the hip, I was into the culture. My uncle was already going to Egypt, and at that time, I knew Dr. Ben only through, because my uncle, when they went to Egypt and they came back, they put together a magazine, Nile Valley based, and they was revolutionaries. And you had about 7, 8, 9, 10 different, they had the magazine, you had, you had the family writing, and they was revolutionary. They was bringing, and it was a magazine. I say, damn, they was bringing the God, they was bringing the temples, they was revolutionary information there. They was dealing with the medicine. And so I would read the magazines, and that's how I really learned about Dr. Ben. You see what I'm saying? I learned about Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, but Malcolm, when it came to just hearing a message, man, no, I'm gonna say this. No, I first came through Farrakhan. I did. You see what I'm saying? Because at that time in hip hop, Farrakhan was, just kept coming up, with the conscious element of hip hop, and so they would bring Farrakhan, name up, and so I started to listen to Farrakhan. And listen to me, when I was young, man, listen here, Farrakhan is just, he's also a powerful speaker. We must address that. He right in there with him. You talking about Malcolm, Khalid, Farrakhan, all of them is powerful speakers. You see what I'm saying? Powerful speakers. I still believe Malcolm is still he's the GOAT. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't no doubt about it. I do believe that Khaled, you understand what I'm saying? He had a pure Black power message. You see, above and beyond, you know what I'm saying? But Malcolm still had that hand across that water dealing with them leaders. You see what I'm saying? That none of them was able to they didn't have that grasp, they didn't have that type of backing with the, and I know at this time it's still, it's still some revolutionaries over there, because you can see Africa is turning, it's becoming something different. They're getting ready to get all that damn homosexuality, all that dumb shit up out of there. And I'm so glad that they waking up. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of Africa in that sense, that they waking up, they standing on something. And that's a hell of a stance to say, you know what, y'all can't bring this shit over here. Y'all gonna have to pack this shit up and get this shit up out of here. And not only that, they passing laws about harming their children. And I'm glad to see that too. You see what I'm saying? So Africa is waking up. But I was listening to Farrakhan. I remember Farrakhan used to come on at every Friday, because that was and I don't give a fuck where I was. I'll be running my ass home. You understand? Back then, they still had, you was making your little tape. You know what I'm saying? You put your tape in there, goddamn. I was recording every goddamn thing. You understand? I put my tape in there and record, and I say, damn. Yeah, Farrakhan was, I was into the knowledge. I was young, and I was into the knowledge, and I still had my library then. I was still already building my library, had my books, man. The goddamn conscious community didn't even exist at this time. You see what I'm saying? This real talk. It wasn't even no YouTube. You understand what I'm saying? And I've been this same nigga all my life. You see what I'm saying? And at least until I got, when I turned 17, I was already, deep off into the culture. You know what I'm saying? And, and so again, Farrakhan was the first person that, verbally, and he was powerful. But man, when I heard Malcolm X, I was most definitely, man. It was like Malcolm at that. When I heard Malcolm, when I heard Message to the Grassroots, when I heard Ballad of the Bullet, it just did something to me. You know what I'm saying? And I was forevermore that at that point, I was looking for everything Malcolm X, whatever speeches, man. I got to get to my catalog and shit. I got a catalog, man. I got speeches from Malcolm X. People don't even know that he got out here. You know what I'm saying? We speaking on Egypt, speaking on the Nile and the history of Egypt. People don't know that. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, when I got a hold of Malcolm X, man, he was the first, great teacher. And though I was, listening to Farrakhan, when I heard Malcolm X, man, he immediately went to the top for me. I used to listen to Message to the every day. I would imitate it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it came, and I was imitating it like I was doing the damn speech. I ain't gonna lie to you. You see what I'm saying? And it was so powerful. I don't give a damn how many times you listening. When he got to them key points where he meant it, you can play it over and over and over, and it's like the first time. You will never lose. The power of it. You never lose it. You understand? Because the message is so powerful, it's so clear, it's so on point that you can play it over and over. And to this day, if you had to give somebody, just say, you know what I'm saying? If you give a message to the grassroots, that's got to be one of the primary lessons, man, that can get you together, show you how to get your nation together, show you how to get your community together in a short hour span. He'll have you, what the ability to jumpstart your community and, and clean yourself up and get yourself together. Most definitely. Message to the Grassroots and the Ballad of the Bullet. You know what I'm saying? Both of them. You see, most powerful, some of the most powerful speeches that he ever gave. But, and so, and a lot of things, see, I didn't know really, I knew he had got killed, but I didn't know all the controversy. So, I had been listening to his speeches before the movie came out. And then the movie got ready to come out. And then when the movie got ready to come out, then the controversies came out. And I was young. And then I found out they started speaking, they started talking about Farrakhan. I was like shook. I was like, man, what? And and you know what? We had a lot of because my family, some of my family was in the Nation of Islam. And so we would have all the old I'm talking about the Muhammad Speaks. You see what I'm saying? Where they would have the two brothers with their hands across, one, I think one in Africa, one here, and the hands, the brothers was reaching across the damn the world, to kind of unite, you know what I'm saying? And I just remember I had so many and I was reading them and whatnot. And I just happened, they was to get in one where it had, I guess it was after him and Malcolm had broke away from the Nation of Islam. And I seen where they had Malcolm's head, like it was bouncing and shit, man, down the street. Oh man, that was disturbing to me, man. Cause like I said, I came through and I revered Farrakhan at that time. I did. I revered him. My uncle was a Muslim, and then my other uncle, Pianki, he wasn't a Muslim, he was African centered. So I had both of them. They still my uncles. They still love one another. They'll get together and they'll get to doing their conversations and shit about which one is this and that and the third. You know what I'm saying? But I revere them both. You see what I'm saying? And and so when I found out that Farrakhan that has was implicated in the death of Malcolm X, I was confused, man. I was in turmoil. I was like, man, what the fuck? And then, when I heard, this is myself, this was what I felt. And I say, what? And then I say, you know what, let me start doing research. And I was like, and when I heard Farrakhan say the shit he said about Malcolm X, man, I hated that nigga. I say, what? He said that he he said he was, all the shit that came out his mouth. Like he was over at that mosque in Jersey and he was spewing all that shit on Malcolm. I was like, man, in my mind, I was like, nigga, you had Malcolm X killed. I don't give a fuck if you don't try to back out, nigga. You talking, dog. You talking, you flagrant. You see what I'm saying? You flagrant about what you were saying. And at that time, I cut that nigga off. Nobody had to say nothing to me. I was done. You see, I was done with him. When I heard him speak about Malcolm X like that, I was done with Farrakhan. Like, fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Straight up. You see what I'm saying? And from that point on, that's how I've been. And when I heard, a lot of people think that I cut into Farrakhan based on, Dr. John Henry Clark. No, and when I heard Baba talking about him and Baba be on his head, I say, yeah, Baba was right there. So he know. You know what I'm saying? I know he knows. See, he was right there with him. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, and that's just how powerful he was, that he could reach and grab me. I wasn't but 18, 17, and I had never even met him. Just his cassettes and shit was able to reach me. And like I say, man, I fell in love with Malcolm X, man. He is most definitely one of the greatest, inspirations in my life. You know what I'm saying? And for whatever I don't agree with him, that's all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing, that's all right. But what he was doing for our people was so, it was so megalithic. You see, on the scale in which he was doing it, that would have been our link, man. That would have been our link to straightening a lot of this shit that then went wrong up until this point. Malcolm was trying to really straighten this shit out. Nobody else have I seen that was really trying to straighten this shit out over here. You see what I'm saying? And get our people together. You see what I'm saying? So, make sure y'all speak his name. You see, and go back, and I'm gonna tell you, go back. Malcolm was teaching these revolutionaries, all these niggas that revolutionaries that was on that, Malcolm put that fire, the Panthers, and even though they did what they went another way. They had some of it, but they didn't have all of it. You see, they went to fucking with them Marxists and shit and all that, and I ain't into that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, this is about Africa. I ain't for no communism, and I ain't for no Marxism. I'm for black power. You see what I'm saying? So they went to add all type of other elements in there, white peoples and Asians and all kind of Hispanics and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And that I ain't about that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about that. But we got to get back there and get that information from Malcolm. It's still purely valuable to this day. And I swear to God on everything, it could be what can jumpstart this community. And matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure that I reach my hand down in that treasure chest and pull some of them jewels up out of there and get that information up here so we can manifest it even right now today. All right, family. I still got one more. I don't feel like going to sleep right now. And I think, I'm going to reach it because it's got something to do with this topic also, but just in a different way. You see, we're going to be talking about the tomb of Jesus in India, and it's the reason why I brought that up, excuse me. And you're going to see that there is a secret connection to the Nation of Islam, even in dealing with that. And so come on back. It's going to blow your mind because I'm going to show you something, about the occult founding of the Nation of Islam and really where they got their foundation from. You see, and it'll blow your mind, and I'm going to show you today. This is General Cyrus Sunsetti. Link right out there in the video description. Click some of them links and support the general so we can continue to do this shit on a megalithic scale. All right, family. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education. All 130 of y'all out there, I'll see you up there. Make sure you come right back because I guarantee you it's going to blow your mind. Black power.